There is something about the autumn months that makes me want to dive into a good mystery. And today I'm here to share a few mystery series that are not to be missed. Hello book friends, I'm Jen and welcome to my reading life and welcome to a video dedicated to mystery series that I love. When I started making a list of all of the mystery series that I love, it was a very, very long list. So I have whittled it down to 6 series that I'm going to share with you today. These are not my favorite 6 mysteries necessarily. These are not the top 6. These are just some of my very, very favorites. I think they make for excellent reading during the autumn months. Though really, I'm always in the mood for a good mystery. I think ever since I first read Encyclopedia Brown, Nancy Drew, the Bobbsey Twins, the Westing Game, I have been a mystery lover. I just love being immersed in what is happening, who has done it, and then finding out the reveal at the end just feels so very satisfying to me. And I also love a mystery series in particular because it's really fun to get to know the main characters over the course of a long-running series or a short-running series, as the case may be. But you just get to dive into their lives a little bit more. So it's not just about the mystery or police procedure, but it's also about the characters, and I love the blending of those two things. So if you are a fan of mysteries, or maybe you're looking for a place to start, I'm here to give you some recommendations of some series that I think will really engage you, that will make you fall in love with the main characters, and that will keep you guessing until the very end of each book. So grab yourself a cuppa and let us get into some mystery series that aren't to be missed. Before we get into the 6 mystery series that I'm going to share with you today, I do want to give a little bit of a caveat. None of these are cozy mysteries. There is one in this list that maybe leans a little bit cozier than the rest, but I would definitely classify the majority of these as police procedurals rather than a cozy mystery. So they're going to be a little bit darker than what you get in a cozy mystery. There may be a touch of violence or some slightly graphic details. Nothing super explicit. I am not a fan of gory details in my mysteries, but I don't mind some explanation of forensics, of how the murder took place, of what exactly happened. So you will find a little bit of that in some of these. So if any of those are things that concern you or that you don't want to read about, I encourage you to do your research before diving into these, because I definitely think everybody has their own levels of what's acceptable in terms of the details that are given in mystery novels. But if you are a fan of the standard police procedural, fairly middle of the road mystery, then this is the video for you. And first up, I have to talk about a very, very long running series. I started reading this series back in my 20s, so I've been reading it for probably close to 30 years now. And I was lucky enough, the author of this series is on tour right now, and my mom and I went and saw her speak, and she had a book signing at a local bookstore, and we went this past weekend and met her, and she is so incredibly lovely and she's such a fantastic speaker. I have been sort of reinvigorated to return to this series because it has been a few years since I have picked up one of the books in this series. And that series is the Inspector Lynley Mysteries by Elizabeth George. This is the most recent book in the series. This is the one that we had signed when we met her this past weekend. So you can see she signed my edition. And this is, I believe, the 21st book in the series. I think it's number 21 or 22, somewhere around there. So this is a very, very long running series. Our two main characters in this are Inspector Thomas Lynley and DS Barbara Havers. I think she's still a detective sergeant. Does it say here? Yes, she is still a DS. And Lindley comes from the aristocracy, and Barbara Havers comes from a very working class background. And as a result, there are often tensions. They often butt heads about things, but it's very, very satisfying to follow their relationship and to see how they learn to work together, how their relationship and friendship develops over the course of the novels. But this is a series that is so incredibly well done. Now, Elizabeth George is an American and she writes a British mystery series. It is impeccably researched. She really knows what she's doing, especially at this point in time. It was fascinating to hear about her process for writing this novel in particular, and I am very, very excited to dive into it. And while I do think you should read probably the first 5 or 6 novels in the series in order, and probably for most of these series, they should be read in order, just because with a mystery series, you are getting character development that's going on throughout the books. And so you will miss some of that, some of the relationship developments if you skip around in the series. Not to be said that it can't be done, just if you do like to follow along with that, I recommend going back and starting at the beginning. I'm forgetting the title of the first Lindley novel. I'll put it here on the screen for you if you're looking for that one, but this is so fantastic, and I am very, very much looking forward to diving back into Lindley and Havers' world because they are such fascinating characters. Next up is a mystery series that should come as no surprise to anyone. I am currently in the middle of reading this series. I absolutely love it. It is one of my very favorite series that I am reading right now in the present day, and that is the Ruth Galloway Mysteries by Ellie Griffiths. This is the most recent one that I have read, and I believe this is, I want to say 8 or 9 in the series. The first book in the Ruth Galloway Mysteries is called The Crossing Places, so if you are looking to start with this series, that is book number 1. And in this, we follow Ruth Galloway. She is a professor of archaeology in, I believe, Norwich. I can't remember exactly. I think it's up in Norwich at a university, and she gets involved in helping the police solve some crimes when bones are discovered that they're not sure if they are of archaeological significance. So Ruth often gets called in to take a look at the bones, to date them, and then, she stays involved in these mysteries because often the bones are very old, but then they're somehow tied to some sort of crime that's happening in the present day. Very fascinating, very multi-layered. There is a lot going on in these series, and you really do need to start from the beginning with these because there's a lot of interpersonal relationships of the characters that changes throughout the books, and significant things happen in Ruth's life. So definitely keep that in mind and start with book 1 and work your way through just so you can keep up with all of that. That is one of the things that I love about mystery series, is that while you have these characters and relationships that grow and develop over the course of the series, each book and each mystery within that book gets wrapped up in that one book. So you can just read that book and then be done with that particular mystery. There are certainly some mystery series where there will be a mystery that covers more than one book, something that's ongoing, and sometimes that's a secondary mystery, although sometimes it can be a primary mystery that maybe takes 2 or 3 books to resolve. I'm okay with that if it's a mystery series that I'm invested in, but I really do prefer to have the mystery solved within each individual novel. That just feels, like I said at the beginning, very satisfying to me. Next up is the only series that I'm talking about today that is not set in England. And this one is actually set both in the United States and in Ireland. And it's also a mystery series that I'm not sure I've ever heard anyone else talk about, but I absolutely love it. And that is the Maggie D'Arcy Mysteries by Sarah Stewart Taylor. The first one in the series is called The Mountains Wild, and Maggie D'Arcy is a detective in the New Jersey police police, and she has a cousin who, when they were in their late teens, her cousin went missing in Ireland. And at the time she went missing, Maggie went over there and spent some weeks there trying to, find her cousin, and with no success. And then we fast forward, many, many years later, and Maggie gets a call from the Gardaí in Ireland telling her they have found her cousin's scarf near the scene where another kidnapping has happened at the scene of her cousin's kidnapping. And so Maggie gets involved, and she ends up going to Ireland to kind of help out with the investigation. And it is such a compelling mystery, so very propulsive. I could not stop turning the pages of this, nor could I stop turning the pages of the 3 subsequent books in this series. There's only 4 out in this series so far. I'm hoping she's going to come back to Maggie and we're going to get to see more of her. I know Sarah Stewart Taylor is also writing another mystery series currently, but I'm hopeful that she'll come back to this one. But the first 4 books, or if there are only going to be 4 books in this series, are wonderful. The subsequent books take place, even more of them take place in Ireland than in New Jersey. And it's just so fascinating to see Maggie and what happens to her and how her life changes over the course of the 4 books. But each of the mysteries themselves in these books are just incredibly well plotted and very, very fast paced. So if you would like something like that, this is a book you can just sit down and you will not want to get up once you start it. Actually, I just misspoke because I realized that this next mystery series actually also takes place in Ireland. And it is written by an Australian author. And this is, again, another series I don't really hear talked about that much. And it is so fantastic. And that is the Cormac Riley Mysteries by Dervla McTiernan. And the first book is The Ruin. And I believe the 4th or 5th book just came out. There's also a short story that you can get on Audible that's kind of like a, between the mysteries mystery. But Cormac Riley is a Garda, and he is such a compelling character. I love Cormac. I think he is just really, really engaging and endearing. And, he has his demons, as often police detectives do in novels like these, but he has such a good heart to him, and that is the heart of these books, and I absolutely love that. And this one has a mystery from early in Cormac's career that comes back into the present, so that's what this first book is about, but all of the mysteries are fantastic. It's funny because these books, it takes a long time for them to get published outside of Australia, but I just realized that I could get the audiobook of the newest entry in the series on Audible. And so I just used my monthly Audible credit to get the newest book. I don't want to wait any longer. And I just want to have more Cormac Riley in my life. But I absolutely love this series. If you love Kate Atkinson's The Jackson Brodie Mystery Series or things like that, then definitely track down Dervla McTiernan. This series is wonderful. Next up is another series that I have been reading since I was in my 20s, and it is also a series that is set in England but is written by an American, and it also features a male-female detective duo partnership, and that is the Duncan Kincaid and Gemma James mystery series by Deborah Crombie. And A Killing of Innocence, this is the most recent book in the series. I'm waiting for the next one to come out. And as I said, I've been reading this series since I was in my 20s, and my roommate at the time introduced me to Deborah Crombie, and I just binged through all the books that were available at that point. A Share in Death is the first book in the series, and I will say that one, it takes a little bit for it to get going. So wait definitely and give yourself through book 2. Don't give up after book 1 if it doesn't quite hit the sweet spot for you. But this is a series that just just builds on itself and gets better and better, and the relationships of the characters just, oh, it's just one of my favorites. If you like watching the development of the relationships in a series like Louise Penny's Three Pines Mysteries, then definitely give Deborah Crombie a try, because I promise you'll get just as invested in Deborah Crombie's characters. They're wonderful. So yes, this is a fantastic series. And again, I think this is around book, I want to say 19 or so in this series. Oh my goodness. Yes, you can see the list of books in this series right here. So you have a lot to get through if you start this one and love it, which I think you will, especially if you enjoy, you know, any kind of police detective procedurals, but they're just wonderful. And then my last book in this list for today is the only book I don't have a physical copy of, because I have listened to all of these on audio. And this is the series that I mentioned at the beginning, is definitely the closest to the cozy mystery series. It's not fully a cozy mystery, but it's kind of one step up from that. And that is the Phillida Bright Mysteries by Colleen Cambridge. And I just love this series. It is so very fun. In this, we follow Phillida Bright. She is the fictional housekeeper of Agatha Christie. And so while Agatha Christie plays a small role in these books, she is not the main character. Phillida is the main character, and so Agatha Christie only comes in and out very briefly, which I actually think works perfectly, because I think it's really hard to bring to life somebody who has a larger than life persona like Agatha Christie. And I think that's a difficult line to walk when you're doing a mystery series, and sometimes doesn't always work if you don't get the tone quite right. So I think that Colleen Cambridge has done a great thing here by making her just kind of a side character. And Phillida is fantastic. We get to meet all of the other staff who work at Agatha Christie's home, and you know, she has a relationship with the butler they don't really get along. She also has a relationship with the chauffeur for the house, and then she gets involved in some mysteries, and these mysteries are definitely a little bit on the lighter side. There is often a murder, but it's not graphic. There aren't a lot of graphic details shared in these books, and they are so good on audio. I cannot recommend them enough. I'm waiting for the next one to come out. I know Colleen Cambridge also has another mystery series that I want to try, which features somebody in Julia Childs' life, and I believe they're set in France. I think the first one is called Mastering the Art of French Murder, I want to say. Something like that. And I think that one sounds great as well. And I haven't given that one a try yet, but I have read all of the Phillida Bright mysteries that are out so far, and I've loved every single one of them. It is fantastic. So if police procedurals aren't quite your thing, and you want something slightly a little bit on the cozier side, more along the lines of sort of how Agatha Christie wrote her mysteries, so if that level of mystery is what you're looking for, then I would give the Phillida Bright mystery series a try. It is really good. I love it. And that will do it for today's video. These are 6 mystery series that I highly recommend and don't think you should miss. They are so wonderful. As you can see, many of them are series that I have read for a very long time, or if I've found them recently, I have just absolutely fallen in love with them, and I think they are well worth your time, well worth getting invested in. And if you're a mystery lover, don't miss out on these. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, I could have included so many other mystery series in this video, so if you were interested in a part 2, definitely let me know that down in the comments. And let me know what some of your favorite mystery series are, especially if they are kind of along these same lines, that police procedural kind of standard mystery. I don't read many very cozy mysteries. That's not really what I'm drawn to, but I like this sort of middle of the road where there's we follow the police solving a crime, or some detectives or private detectives, private investigators. I very much like that that sort of subset of the mystery genre. So leave me your recommendations down below. And I definitely love mysteries set in the UK or in other foreign countries. If you have any recommendations for those, definitely let me know. But yeah, so let's chat all things mystery series down in the comments. And if you're here but you don't have anything you'd like to add in the comments, but you want to let me know you were here, because comments really do help my channel. I mean, we have to leave the little like detective emoji, right? Or I don't know, is there just a magnifying glass emoji or a question mark emoji like to indicate a mystery? Whatever you would like, leave those emojis. I do love seeing those. And as I mentioned, they really, really do help my channel. And other things that help my channel, if you enjoyed this video, if you could hit that like button and subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. I would love to have you join my bookish community. And thank you to everyone who left comments on my last video. So fun to chat with you about books and reading. I just love that part of being here on YouTube. And thank you again just for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me in my cozy corner of BookTube. And as always, I'll be back with another video very soon. Bye.